Okay, let's begin. But first, I just want to show you all something I bought when I was in Japan. It is from Studio Ghibli, House Moving Castle. Oh, it's so reflective. Can you even see who it is? It's Sophie and Howl here. There's Howl and Sophie. It is so cute! I love Howl. He is such a green forest. I love him. Complex character, but truly one of my all-time favorites. Now let's begin. We did With Light. That was with Nero and his fanboying over Xavier. Lumiere. Micro Universe. That's the one we're going into now. The Gaia Research Center looms before Michael, a hulking fortress of lead grey concrete. Its thick walls pierced only by rows of tiny, square windows. Michael stands in front of the iris scanner and steps out. He takes in a breath of fresh air. He spent half a year cooped up in this biological fortress, cultivating cells. All the data's been uploaded. And we got a master's student this year? Nice. Michael forces himself to smile before his colleagues, grabs his backpack and sprints to the shuttle bus as its doors are about to close. Sunlight filters through the canopy of lush trees on the university's campus. Dappled light paints the ground in emerald hues. He feels alive. Before graduation, with his thesis looming like a monster and job applications piling up. The only saving grace is art appreciation and criticism. It's a highly sought after elective. As he walks into the classroom, phone in hand, he sees the course evaluation system buzzing with comments. Comment. I'm wasting my time. I can't remember a word the professor said. I just zoned out while staring at his face. Is the professor handsome or what? Comment. Here's what the professor says when he starts class. Sorry, wrong classroom. A chuckle escapes Michael's lips. Comment. Well, in this course, students from other faculties learn to appreciate art, while art students learn criticism. It's not about criticizing art, it's about criticizing you. Michael nods. His smile widening. Comment. This professor must be a fish monster with the way he nitpicks everything. Oh, I wonder if we know who this is. My work was nothing according to him. Comment. I know, right? He once told me that if eating fish made you smarter, you'd need the whole ocean. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a burn. He barbecued this student. Michael throws his head back and laughs. Just like me. Comment. Prepare to be shocked by the most elegant critique on the worst art, especially when that terrible art is mine. Comment. What's the best way to skip class? Being a cat? But honestly, who would want to miss this? Michael grins. Every comment brings back his memories of Raphael. Michael noticed Raphael after seeing one of his paintings online. He couldn't grasp it on a professional level. The colors vibrated with a beauty he couldn't deny. Arriving for the first class, the room was bursting with activity. Even the stairs were packed. Raphael stood gracefully by the podium, his voice weaving a tapestry of art appreciation and criticism. Still catching his breath as he had to run from the lab, Michael scanned the room and finally found a spot. Hey, can you tell me what the third point on the slide was? Michael pulled out his laptop and nudged an engrossed classmate who appeared surprised. Seriously? You're here for art? Michael didn't know why the energy in the room was infectious. Laughter rippled through the crowd as Raphael threw out another witty remark. The gloom Michael had brought from the lab instantly disappeared. He's such a rain of sunshine, this Raphael. I love him. After class, Michael walked up to Raphael. His laptop screen open to display his half-finished notes. Excuse me, Professor. I didn't really understand your last point about appreciation and interpretation. Can you explain for me? The key to appreciation lies in trusting your gut, Raphael said. He helped Michael fill in the missing lecture content and glanced through thoughtfully at Michael's notes. Grab that seat next time. You'll be in the front row, center stage. Surprised, Michael followed Raphael's gaze. He was flattered to see the spot in front of the podium being offered. In his mind, artists were enigmatic and aloof. Meanwhile, scientists were the ones who valued clarity and communication. Earlier that day, a harsh scolding for questioning an overly aggressive experiment in the lab left Michael jaded. He never expected solace to come from a seemingly sharp-tongued artist. But Michael quickly discovered that Raphael needed his notes as a reminder. He was prone to losing his train of thought mid-lecture. Whenever Raphael's eyes met his, Michael flipped around his laptop screen, his notes typed up in a large font for easy reading. It happens when your ideas get a little too tangled. Michael tried to explain for Raphael, then recalled the first painting that captivated him. The unforgettable colors and abstract patterns echoed the playful doodles he used to create in petri dishes. Michael initially saw Raphael's class as a welcome break from the lab, but the day Raphael unveiled his own work was when the art world truly opened its doors for Michael. To give students from other faculties a deeper understanding of art, appreciation, and criticism, Raphael presented one of his creations and let the art students critique it. As classmates showered the piece with praise, Michael felt a growing disconnect with them. Comments like liberating yet short, separate brushstrokes, blurred edges that hide lines and let colors flow, vibrant energy, and like a rapid sea current capturing the fleeting interplay of light and shadow, flew over his head. He didn't understand a single bit. Now, let's hear from students from other faculties. Raphael announced, his gaze landing on Michael. Nervous and tense, he scrambled to look for notes from the first class. 1. Appreciation and criticism, the union of sensibility and reason. 2. Critique is a personal journey, shaped by individual aesthetic preferences. It's an active recreation by the viewer. 3. All appreciation is interpretation. The key to appreciation lies in trusting your gut. Taking a deep breath, Michael clenched his fists and stood up. His voice trembled slightly as he spoke. Okay, I know I'm not an art major like the rest of you. My understanding of art is, well, also limited. With a deep breath, he began to explain his interpretation. Honestly, it's a bit messy to me. The room went silent. Michael nervously glances at Raphael only to find the professor tilting his head in encouragement. But the colors are strong. They work together. Somehow. It's actually quite calming to look at, and peaceful. He lowered his head, sweat prickling his back. Biology, right? Your artistic intuition is spot on, actually. This piece was just me venting my frustration at my agent. A few angry strokes to blow off steam, you know? Laughter rippled through the classroom and washed away the tension. Michael was surprised that Raphael even remembered his major. It was a small moment, but it shattered his perception of art as this complicated, unattainable world. He saw a young boy once captivated by the vibrant colors of flowers and the diversity of animals. Now he was a young man trapped in a world of grey, concrete buildings, peering under a microscope at a single color called LCMECS. Raphael's classes weren't always sunshine and rainbows. During the midterm exam, Michael got his first taste of pressure. It was a practical exam. Art students brought in their creations for the class to appreciate and critique. When the exam was announced, Michael found it intriguing. But little did he know that the intrigue was reserved for non-art students. As the comments rolled in, it became clear. Art students were getting critiqued while students from other faculties were learning to appreciate. Despite the low-key setup of the exhibition, a nervous tension hung in the air. The usually free-spirited art students became surprisingly serious. When Raphael approached them, their fists were clenched. Michael might not understand everything on display, but certain pieces drew him in. One painting had a hazy, dreamlike quality, and Raphael commented on it. The intended blank is good. You can keep that. Now, let's think about the rest. Another was bursting with color and exaggerated strokes. It caught Michael's eye. Raphael made a gentle remark. Interesting. You're pioneering a new genre. Let's call it absurd abstraction. The student walked away while biting their lip. Under his breath, Raphael added, enough abstraction and way too much absurdity. This side of Raphael threw Michael for a loop. He realized that within the realm of art, Raphael can be surprisingly strict, bordering aloofness even. Stepping out of the class with the creator of the absurd abstraction piece, Michael couldn't help but comment. The professor can be tough during critiques. He doesn't even sugarcoat things. But that's what I also like about Raphael, that he doesn't sugarcoat. He's just bold. He doesn't even sugarcoat things. But I like your painting. The colors are cool and it's kinda cute. It's a bit out there though. The student gave Michael a long look before they broke into a fit of laughter. No wonder Raphael likes you. Michael's brow furrowed in confusion. The student explained. Enough abstraction and too much absurdity. It's similar to the out there part you mentioned. Wait, so he wasn't criticizing you? Art critique isn't always what you expect. Raphael didn't say it was bad. Whatever he acknowledged is a win for me. And that is the beauty with art. And that is also why I never really critique someone else's art, because it is in their style. It is in their style. They have put their time into this painting, into this artwork, whatever they are doing. If someone wants critique, like feedback on like proportions or something like that, then of course you give it. But like blatantly saying like something is in a ugly style or something like that. I just don't do that. Because I like seeing different styles. How boring would it be to just see one particular style? That is super boring. So, about the intended blank. Does keeping it mean erasing everything else? That's the trickiest part. Using it well means your composition and concept are on point. Skills come with practice. Michael listened intently and a bold idea for his final project blossomed in his mind. As the semester was near its end, Raphael took his class on a field trip to a rural architectural gem, a place steeped in centuries of history. This small town boasted a treasure trove of well-preserved buildings, cloisters, courtyards, and halls tucked away within private homes. Michael always envisioned Raphael as a product of Verona's elite art world. Yet, here he was, effortlessly identifying the age of a residence, salted fish by scent, and wielding a paper-cutting scissor to recreate building silhouettes. This down-to-earth side made Raphael seem more approachable. With free time on his hands, Michael wandered along towering white walls, their weathered surfaces adorned with moss. He couldn't help but be reminded of Raphael's paintings. As he turned a corner, he spotted Raphael sitting alone. He was on a stone bench in a secluded courtyard. Raphael stared straight ahead. In the courtyard, vibrant peonies bloomed and a majestic sophra tree's canopy rose over a tall wall. Clusters of sophora flowers swayed gently in the breeze, like wind chimes. Even Michael couldn't deny the picturesque scene. He must be lost in artistic contemplation. I shouldn't disturb him. Wait. Just as Michael prepared to leave, Raphael called out to him. You, take that away. Michael scanned the courtyard, searching for anything out of place. He saw Raphael's furrowed brow. Raphael pointed at the sophora tree. That thing. Get rid of it, quickly. Perched on the stone steps beside the tree was a chubby orange cat. A chubby orange cat! Oh my gosh, I love gingers! Easily 9 kilograms. Meticulously grooming itself. It occasionally cast a disdainful glance at the two men. Oh my gosh, of course! Of course there was a cat. I love how afraid Raphael is of cats. Like, what happened? I need to know. I'm probably gonna get to know eventually what happened between him and a cat. Suspicious, Michael eyed the fat orange cat. But to his surprise, the cat rolled onto its back in an obvious display of trust. As Raphael let out a dramatic sniffle, Michael scooped up the cat and turned to face him. Raphael, however, averted his gaze and began walking out the courtyard. With a court nod, he acknowledged Michael. I'm glad you showed up, Michael. For a long time, it was the only interaction that put Michael at ease. It somehow even lightened the 9-kilo cat in his arms. After all, back in the lab, he was just that Lincoln intern, or S460602, his staff number. The long, tree-lined path ends as the memories of the field trip fade into the distance. Raphael's final class is about to begin, and Michael can't shake the feeling that this might be his closest and last brush with art. Stepping into the familiar classroom, The scene mirrors the first class, except now Michael has his own designated spot. As he walks past the podium, a group of students huddle together, clearly hoping for leniency on their final grades. From behind, Raphael's voice cuts through. He's light on his feet, but firm in his tone. Teacher's guide, not cheat. Final class is a breeze. It's just an open discussion about the semester's journey. Conversations flow freely, weaving tales of discovery and a newfound appreciation for beauty. A few students even present revised versions of their midterm projects, each retaining their unique style. Yet, something has subtly changed. Michael can't quite put his finger on it, but he knows that the abstract and the absurd are valid, and the intended blank can spark imagination that transcends others. Michael also brings his work, but he holds back until more students leave. He then approaches Raphael and unfolds his meticulous prepared artwork. It's an image of LCME's cells from the lab where he spends most of his days and nights. LCMECS are a type of immortalized cells. They're not uncommon in the microscopic world. They remind me of your paintings. Splendid microscopic world, teeming with life under high magnification, has become Michael's sanctuary in the sterile grey lab. He steps forward, energized, but his next words are stuck in his throat. Raphael wasn't listening to him. His gaze is fixed, almost glued to the name of that cell. Confused by the professor's intense focus, Michael racks his brain to remember the full name of the cells. LCMECS, cardiac microvascular endothelial cells. As for the first word, it was LEM something. Lemurian! Michael, are you already on your way to Ever HQ? 3 months in, huh? That's impressive. The elevator doors open and reveal a familiar face. He's 3 months out of grad school, and summer's golden grip loosens. An awkward silence hangs in the air until, like clockwork, someone pipes up. Michael flashes a smile. Hey, you doing good? I can't complain. A new intern discovered a pancreatic enzyme that's almost the same color as my growth medium and swapped it. How perfect is that? The cells haven't hit the Hayflick limit yet, but I'm already feeling fried. Realizing his voice has gotten a bit loud, he coughs and quickly switches to a hushed tone. Listen, HQ's a jungle. Keep your head on a swivel and don't get lost in your work like you always do. Thanks, but Michael hesitates and then leans in to question his senior colleague. Just out of curiosity, where do LCMECS come from? Be careful with that curiosity of yours. HQ keeps that under wraps. Besides, what good would come out of having such knowledge? Michael isn't entirely sure himself, based on that first word, lem something. A wild guess forms in his mind, but that civilization is long gone. How could life still exist? Exiting the building, his colleagues waves back goodbye and sprints for the shuttle bus. Michael is left alone on the vast grey structure. He glances back and the setting sun is partially obscured. This mirrors the scene from that final art appreciation class. That time, in the empty classroom, Raphael held Michael's LCMECS He walked to the window and slowly lifted the artwork. The setting sun, just like today's, cast a soft glow through the paper. A gust of wind tapped the window, and the microscopic universe on the paper seemingly came alive. Tiny colored blocks transformed into miniature colorful fish, tails flickering as they danced from Raphael's fingertips in the dusty air. Yes, sir? Michael approached him, cautiously, sure if he should interrupt. Question: do you typically extract cells from living subjects? Or are they... Michael was surprised by Raphael's unexpected inquiry. It depends. Honestly, I'm not privy to that information. I'll have to check with the lab next time I'm there. I'll put in a request. Don't worry. I was just curious. But tell me, what do you think of these cells? They're perfect blend of biology and art. They make me see life as an art form. Honestly, Professor, the lab work can be boring sometimes. I almost lost my passion for research. But these cells are incredible. Not only are they beautiful, they seem to hold secrets about life itself. You only knew, Michael! Maybe the microscopic world is just as rich and colorful as the one you paint. That makes me want to keep exploring it. A genuine smile graced Raphael's lips as he lowered his arm and turned to face Michael. His posture remained as poised and elegant as when they first met. Yeah, biology is a fascinating subject. It reveals the underlying colors of all life on Earth. It's a masterpiece painted by nature itself. He handed the cell image back to Michael. Then he turned and walked away from the window. Michael, if you achieve great things in biology, never forget that. It is so refreshing to see this kind of side from Raphael as well. Like, he's not just this sassy drama queen that's funny as well. He has a serious side to him as well. And a strict side to him as well. And not only that, but I think he has a quite dangerous side to him. So he is a rather complex character. But I like that. I like that a lot. And it's going to be very interesting to read all of these. I've already gone through all the anecdotes. And those will, if they already haven't, those will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's continue. No morning. Crush. Does my baby face make me look a bit green? Huh? Wait. Does my baby face make me look a bit green? Is it like a beginner? Otherwise, I don't understand in what way you would say that. Like, what other meaning it would be. Does my baby face make me look green? I have a lot of baby fat in my face, so at what age will this be removed, guys? I just want to know. Yvonne pushes a patient to radiology when she spots Greyson muttering to himself, his image reflected in the elevator's polished steel. Thank goodness Dr. Zayne's out, otherwise you'd be in for a lecture. Dr. Zayne's been busy catching up on work since his Mount Eternal trip. No time to micromanage. Grayson eyes the patient in the wheelchair. His leg is wrapped in a specialized cast for wanderer infections. The guy is glued to his phone and doesn't appear to be an average patient. Hunter? Man lifts his wrist and reveals an information band. Grayson scans it with the hospital's internal system app. He gets a result. Arctic Hunter. The patient had received a traumatic injury during the battle and was briefly exposed to a high volume of metaflux. After going through post-treatment at the Arctic Trauma Center, a panel of experts flagged him for a procedure at Lincoln's Axo Hospital. The hunter in the wheelchair grumbles impatiently. What's with this kidnapping routine? When am I getting out of here? It's just a minor injury. Besides, the Arctic is a mess. We're already short-staffed as it is. You dragged me all the way here. It's standard protocol, and it's for your own good, Yvonne replied with a shrug. Grayson nods. Based on their limited interaction with hunters, mostly through Dr. Zayne's special cases, they understood that these individuals prioritize missions over everything else. This is especially true for Alpha Team, for whom a recommendation for further examination is but a suggestion. Grayson remembers something and decides to change the subject. By the way, I'm curious, what do hunters do on their days off? The Arctic Hunter continues scrolling through his phone. Determined to shut Grayson down with one quick retort, get wheeled around for checkups. Grayson isn't giving up that easily. Then do hunters have any hobbies they share? The hunter finally looks up, scrutinizing Grayson's earnest expression with a hint of confusion. Then, as if a light bulb goes off in Yvonne's head, she exclaims, Grayson, don't tell me you got a crush on... Grayson scratches his head sheepishly and coughs as if his throat has become very itchy. Ding! The elevator bell rings. Yvonne, understanding the situation, pushes the hunter out of the elevator. Grayson quickly follows. What are you following me for? I haven't gotten my answer from the hunter yet. The medical examination briefing for the Hunters Association is about to start. Being a couple of minutes late won't hurt. Dr. Zayne's already there. What? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why would Dr. Zayne be at this meeting? Grayson quickly turns and rushes to the elevator. His body is already inside, but his eyes are fixed on the Arctic Hunter. Desperate for an answer, he doesn't even care if he's blocking the elevator door in a way that almost screams, Don't try this stunt at home, kids. Punching wanderers? Grayson's heart sinks. He purses his lips. Do you say purses? That always confuses me. Purses? Purses. He purses his lips in disappointment and lets out a sigh as the elevator door closes. By the time Grayson reaches the conference room, Dr. Zayne is reviewing a case file with Dr. Wu from the Division of Eval and Protocore Medical Technology. That was a long one. Just as Grayson is about to greet him, Dr. Zayne stands up and leaves the room. A trail of icy air is left behind. Stop by my office after the meeting. Grayson nods and finds a seat. Just a regular briefing about the annual event where the Hunters Association's health center partners with Axo Hospital to conduct comprehensive medical examinations on hunters. It ensures the effects of metaflux and protocore energy on their bodies remain within manageable limits. Grayson's mind, however, drifts elsewhere. We replace a scene where an injured person's heartbeat is brought back to life in his hands, and the girl smiles at him against the backlight. Wanderers behind her burst like fireworks, the light echoing the blossoming warmth in his heart. His phone buzzes, pulling him back to reality. Yvonne had sent him a message. Hey, regarding your hunter girl, why not take a cue from Dr. Zayne? He's so close with Miss Hunter. You know, that saying her name turns him into a softie. This is so cute! Grayson shivers at the thought of Dr. Zayne's reaction if he asks something like, Dr. Zayne, how did you pursue Miss Hunter? It's not that I don't want to, it's that I don't dare, Grayson thought. After the meeting, Grayson walks to Dr. Zayne's office at a slower pace this time. To ask or not to ask, that is the question. Dr. Zayne, I'm here. As he enters the office, a refreshing cool fragrance reaches him. Dr. Zayne, who is currently reviewing a file, has a slight frown on his face. It's a common sight when faced with a patient's challenging medical condition. There is a type A Biosina implant surgery scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Get ready. Grayson takes the file, which belongs to the Arctic hunter he met earlier. The metaflux reaction in the patient's leg wound exceeds the reference limit and cannot be completely removed. Medical imaging results show that the residual metaflux has entered the bloodstream. A cryosina must be implanted as soon as possible to prevent the metaflux from affecting the patient's heart even more. It could lead to a powerful surge, and he was still yelling about being discharged when I saw him this afternoon. We'll be performing 2 surgeries back to back, so it will take a while. You can skip the Hunters Association medical examination tomorrow and get some rest. Grayson nods, then shakes his head. I'll be fine. The association's medical examination is always a breeze, just like a day off. Dr. Zayne doesn't stop writing. His gaze from behind his glasses meets Grayson's for a moment. It's followed by a soft that sounds suspiciously meaningful to Grayson. Grayson responds with an awkward heh. Staring at the desk, he tries to change the subject. What a fascinating flower! Those buds look just like tiny snowballs. Is it for Miss Hunter? Are these jasmines? Jasmine flowers, they smell so nice, by the way. And I love jasmine perfume. Grayson curls his finger and reaches for a small potted plant with white buds nestled in snow. It's on Zayne's desk. It's a little droopy. Don't touch it. Zayne's pen smacks Grayson's knuckles. Oh, I visualized him doing that. Oh my god. It just looked so funny to me. But so Zayne, right? So Zayne. Don't touch it. I'd be like... If someone says don't touch, I'm like immediately drawn to it. I'm like, I have to. Startled, he pulls his hand back, realizing his attempt at a conversation has failed. Grayson shifts to another topic. Dr. Zayne, you're more than inspirational. You're not only my mentor in my specialty, but also the guiding light for my life's journey. a teacher for a day and for... Do you have a crush now? I'd be like, yeah, on you. Oh, can I freaking chill down? Oh my gosh. Zayne, with a stack of documents, heads to the violin cabinet. Greyson follows closely behind. Not really, it's just a budding feeling. Hunter? Oh, Dr. Zayne, you're always so perceptive. You want to get to know her, but don't know how to break the ice. Break the ice? I see you, Elsa. I've watched Frozen too many times. Exactly. I don't want to bother her during work. And I also don't know how to talk to her outside of work. Dr. Zayne, how did you and Miss Hunter become friends? Our situation isn't unique. It's not a fair comparison. It's like, don't compare it to my relationship with MC. That's so real though. Of course, I'm not asking for a roadmap. I'm just curious about the lives of hunters, loved ones. Zayne settles back in his chair and clasps his hands together. He lets out a soft sigh. It's similar to the expression he wore on Greyson's first day, when he couldn't answer a question during his rounds. Can you tell jokes? Oh, we know Zayne is good with these dry humor jokes. Come on, teach him. What? Greyson is completely baffled. Jokes? How could Dr. Zayne's dry humor, the kind that would make a cricket chirp, possibly get him a girlfriend? I mean, have you seen Dr. Zayne? And his personality, like, how can he not be somebody's type? I stand by this. If a man like Zayne exists, which most likely yes, without, you know, the superpowers and stuff, I feel like that would be anyone's type. Where was I? Looking at Zayne's eyes, Greyson tries to discern whether this is genuine advice, but all he sees is a cold glint reflected in Zayne's glasses. Well, maybe hunters have a unique sense of humor. I'll give it a shot. Greyson lingers in the office. He turns back as if on the verge of asking a question. Then, catching a glimpse of snowflakes swirling in Zayne's palm, he watches them land in the flower pot. The previously withered stem seems to come alive, and the bud raises itself as if being gently awakened. His fingertip traces across the sepals, caressing them like a beloved's face. It's a rare sight. Zayne, ever stoic and resting glacier face to his patients, has a hint of a smile grazing his lips as he looks at the flower. Oh my goodness! Why he's so cute? Guys, I know we don't have a picture of Zayne right now, how he looks, but I can see everything in my head. And it looks so cute! Oh. Guessing question time is over. Greyson turns back around and exhales. There has to be more to it than just telling jokes if Dr. Zayne's able to charm Miss Hunter. Or just look really deeply into his eyes and you will be converted. I kind of want to know. Guys that are watching this video, what do you think about Zayne? Or wait, out of all the love interest, male love interest, who do you think is the most handsome? Who do you think is the most, like, attractive, personality-wise, and just face-wise, body-wise? Yeah, everything. I'm curious. I'm really curious. I think I got at least, I know at least two of you. They said Zayne and Silus. So those two I know. Maybe I should ask my brothers as well. I feel like one of my brothers would definitely say Silus. My other brother, I feel like he would also say like Silus or Zayne. Wait, maybe there's a pattern to this. And girlies, I wanna know too, like your boyfriend, your guy friends, your brothers, fathers, what do they think? Now I'ma have to ask my father. The next morning, Greyson hums cheerfully as he enters the cafeteria with his breakfast tray. Yvonne, in the middle of biting a piece of bread, looks up in surprise. Today, Greyson is wearing a sharp navy blue three-piece suit with a tie. His white lab coat is nowhere to be found. Ah, man. Swallowing her food, Yvonne speaks as if she isn't new to the games that the guys play. It's better to be prepared and not panic, that's key, right? What if she notices me during the medical examination today? Greyson digs into his yogurt. But a sudden, almost jarring alarm cuts through the chatter. Why do I want this to be like Captain Jenna? Captain Jenna or Tara. Simone also. As long as we know who it is. And not just a random NPC. Metaflux leak in the northern suburbs. Exposure level 5. Greyson shoves a piece of bread in his pocket and sprints for the rooftop helipad. A rescue helicopter lifts off, and Zayne's figure disappears behind the fuselage door? What is that word? Fuselage. I've never seen this word before. Zayne is always one step ahead in emergency. Greyson leaps into another helicopter that was prepared. Inside the cramped fuselage, again, he and another doctor scrambled to change into protective gear. Their eyes occasionally glancing at the northern suburbs. The rescue zone falls under her jurisdiction. Will their paths cross? A part of him hopes she's not there, but another part of him can't help but pray that if she's hurt, he'll be the one to treat her. That's kinda cute, though. The rescue operation lasts for 2 grueling days and nights. On the 3rd day, just before dawn, Greyson slumps against a stack of supplies in the temporary tent. He's utterly drained. Did you evacuate everyone from Zone 2? A voice asked from behind. Greyson is too exhausted to turn. Dr. Zayne, you're here too. Fatigue crashes over Greyson like a wave. Finally, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. Dr. Zayne, she remembered me. He shows Zayne the phone screen. There's a chaotic post-battle street picture with the following caption. The moment my heart started beating again was so cool. See? This post is about me. And earlier when I was unloading supplies, she volunteered to help. She said I should take care of my hands because I'm a surgeon. After a second of silence, Zayne responds. And let her take the box? Why not? In the unseen shadows, Zayne cracks a faint smile. The hint of weariness beneath it escapes Greyson, who's drunk on his romance. Letting the girl you like do all the heavy lifting, you're quite the charmer. Oh my goodness, Zayne! You know what? I love a man that does not let me carry heavy stuff. Or like carry anything. No, I love that. I love that. It's just, I love it. It is so attractive. It is so attractive when a guy is like, oh, I can carry that for you. Like, we don't even need to be a couple. I'll give you points for carrying. Hey, she's stronger than me. I struggle with one box and she carries two with ease. Well, even if she can carry it. It's just like the offering to help. Recalling his earlier helicopter struggle, Greyson adds, speaking of which, Miss Hunter's job is so dangerous. Shouldn't you try to convince her to be less reckless? The response comes in faint breaths in the cold air. It seems Zayne has fallen asleep. There's another question burning in Greyson's mind. If something happened to Miss Hunter, what would Dr. Zayne do? But then he remembers the faint scars crisscrossing on Zayne's hands. With his superior medical skills, powerful evil, and unwavering resolve, Greyson knows Zayne wouldn't let anyone get hurt, especially when it's someone he cares about. Even today, during a rescue break, Zayne had once again saved people from wanderers. Only Zayne can truly stand beside Miss Hunter in battle. Greyson glances down at his own hands. They're ordinary surgeon's hands, and they don't have a strong evil at their disposal. What could he do? Tent becomes colder. Greyson closes his eyes and surrenders to the encroaching darkness. The emergency rescue operation throws the Arctic Hunter surgeries back 2 days. Thankfully, everything went smoothly. Next day, Greyson follows Zayne. They're going to do a checkup on the hunter. Restless after complaining about overkill treatment, the patient is now stuck in bed. He's bored out of his mind as daily status updates for Mount Eternal's protofield appear on the projector. As Zayne and Greyson enter the room, he throws out a casual question. Can I still be a hunter? Catches Greyson off guard. He throws a worried glance at the sagging blanket that covers the hunter's leg. He looks to Zayne for an answer. Yes, Zayne replies, as long as you promise to avoid getting injured again. Haha, I'll try my best. Trying isn't good enough. It's good you have Dr. Zayne here. Otherwise, what you might have lost wouldn't be. Zayne throws a look at Greyson. Recovering his composure, Greyson uses his professional tone. Movement can increase blood flow. If you're planning to be out on the field, you should schedule more frequent checkups. Also, the cryosina needs to be replaced regularly. Ugh, fine. When can I get out of here? No longer sad, the hunter's impatience returns to what it was before his surgery. Greyson is upset. Physical therapy starts in 2 weeks, and the stitches come out in 4 weeks. As for a bionic exoskeleton, that will be 6 to 8 weeks. It depends on how your wound heals. Zayne remains calm as he lays out the recovery timeline. The 8-week wait makes the hunter frown, but Zayne cuts him off before he can protest. There are 2 ways out of here, walking or rolling. You'll experience the walking part soon, but if you want to keep hunting, follow the doctor's orders. Otherwise, you might be rolling out of the hospital. A chill runs through the room. Frost seemingly appears on the window. The hunter gulps and nods, clearly getting the message. A week later, Greyson enters the room for the Arctic Hunter's final checkup. The good news is that the residual metaflux remained contained for 2 weeks. The cryozina, I don't know, is working perfectly, so the surgery was a success. Congratulations, off to physical therapy you go. And then you'll be back on the battlefield in no time. He supports the hunter by offering an elbow. They stroll through the sun-drenched hospital garden. So, Dr. Greyson, did anything happen with that hunter girl? She asked me out. We'll be having dinner together on my next day off. He smiles, but a flicker of concern crosses his face as the hunter winces with every step. Are you worrying about her again? Yeah, I can't help it. You guys' job is dangerous. As they step into the elevator, a memory surfaces. First encounter a month ago. It was right here that the hunter's voice boomed in protest against a kidnapping. But now... What's there to be scared of? We got you guys watching our backs. The hunter remains nonchalant about potential risks. Greyson is infuriated again. Hey, we're just regular hardworking doctors. The way you charge into danger and face all those risks almost scares us to death. Passing by Zayne's office, the hunter stops in his tracks. Is the glacier face Doc in? I owe him a thank you. He usually takes a break around this time, Greyson says, but the determined hunter throws open the door before he can finish. The office thermostat must be on the fritz. Greyson can't help but shiver. A booming voice interrupts the silence as the Arctic hunter utters a whoa in front of Zayne's desk. Isn't this snow velvet? Don't touch it! Greyson rushes forward, pushing away the hunter's fingers before it brushes against the delicate flower. Aha, so it's not a jasmine. It's a snow velvet. How does that look? I'ma need to check. You know what it is? Of course I do. It's rare stuff even in the Arctic. It only grows on the northern cliffs of Mount Eternal. Not just anyone can go there, but that's where you can find the cleanest snow. Something's been happening in the mountains lately though. Wildlife is practically extinct. It makes me wonder if Glacier Face got some kind of hobby for saving pretty things. Oh. After the Arctic hunt was discharged, this year's hunter data from the medical examination has been finally analyzed. Zayne assigns Greyson the task of writing the report for the hunter's heart health. Buried in the data, Greyson discovers a worrying trend. A large number of hunters are showing signs of type Y protocore syndrome, more than the usual amount seen in previous years. This syndrome involves metaflux that hides in various organs and systems. With a long latency period and slow progression, by the time it's detected, it's often too late. There is currently no known cure. He flags this potential risk to the Hunters Association. Andrew from Data Analysis takes it all in stride. He politely replies that they'll tweak their algorithm based on Hunter's past missions to minimize the risks. Greyson can't help but think Andrew is a little too composed sometimes. Especially after hearing him say, "This is all we can do for now." It hits a little too close to home. The night shift at the inpatient building is like a giant circulatory system. Blood and breath move silently through the wall. Halls. Souls slumber in the small white cubes lining the corridor. Grayson feels like he's gone adrift, a lone white blood cell wandering a weary body. And the only beacon in the night, Zayne's office, of course. That ever-vigilant lighthouse keeper guards the shores of life. Does even he feel the weight, the helplessness? Lost in thought, Grayson pushes open the office door. Light spills from the computer screen. His gaze drawn to the snow velvet on the desk as he approaches. His flower. Bending down, Grayson sees the snowball-like buds that Zayne saved. The plant had started to bloom, but now it's drooping, stem twisted and shrinking against the white porcelain. A single wilted petal falls and lands on the black ice crystal nestled in the pot. He remembers pristine white snow used to be there. Dr. Zayne? The cold computer light casts an unsettling glow over the scene. It inexplicably reminds him of the frigid tent they were in a few weeks back. It was morning, yet the light seemed to have been filtered through a thick black veil. Drowsy and disoriented, he vaguely remembers a faint voice. It was a conversation with Dr. Zayne that lingers just out of reach. The sterile office gloom makes him come to his senses. And Grayson searches for Zayne. He takes in the scattered case files on the desk and the chair that's facing the door. It's a scene that screams of a hurried exit. Emergency surgery? Before panicked thoughts overwhelm Grayson's mind, the office door opens with a click. Zayne enters, rubbing his knuckles against his brow. I was passing by and decided to walk in. Dr. Zayne, your flower. A harsh chill seems to emanate from Zayne as he approaches the desk. His hand reaches out to the wilted snow velvet. He hesitates, his hand remaining suspended in midair as if held back by an invisible force. It seems it's beyond saving. Zayne gathers the case files and talks with Grayson about the checkups tonight. The conversation drifts to the hunter Grayson's been crushing on. She said if the worst case scenario happens and someone needs to perform CPR, even if it means breaking her ribs and her heart stops for 6 minutes and they don't give up, she wants it to be me. Oh my goodness! This girl got riz. Girl got game, for sure. Zayne offers a knowing smile. They both understand the unspoken question of what lies beyond those 6 minutes. Dr. Zayne, when we declare someone gone, in the eyes of their family, are we guardian angels or the Grim Reaper? It's an unanswered question that hangs in the air. Zayne can't help but glance at the desk. A few fragile petals of snow velvet fall, only with its tiny heart still desperately clinging to life amidst the black ice crystals. That had me thinking about the Dream Zayne, the Grim Reaper, the Dawnbreaker? No. Oh, I see it's Luke and Kieran, right? I like those two. They're very interesting. Mischeif. So now we head into Silus's. Rule number 1. 2046. Early spring. Good evening, listeners. We're talking to you live on Combat Zone FM. I'm your host, The armored truck veers onto a deserted road under the moonlight. The signal fades in and out, and the vehicle's radio crackles. Let's talk about ambushes tonight. Linton, the driver, steps on the gas. The moving truck gradually picks up speed, its cabin swaying and creaking as if on its last legs. He glances at the door leading to the back of the vehicle. The curtain is drawn and obscures the interior. It's quiet, and nothing seems amiss. At least that's what he tells himself. His job is just to drive. The cargo back there is under the direct supervision of Ever's researchers. It's none of his business. He's been doing this for years without incident. Tonight, however, is different. Maybe it's the pitch-black surroundings and the quiet road. Or perhaps it's the violent swaying of the truck and its bone-chilling creaks. Whatever the reason, Linton can't shake off this uneasy feeling. To drown it, he reaches out and turns up the radio. Here's the first rule for a successful ambush. Conceal your strengths. Just as the radio host finishes speaking, a young, amused voice resounds beside Linton's ear. Well, it's not wrong. Linton's heart nearly stops. He slams on the brakes. The inertia throws them forward, and the person beside him playfully lunges at Linton. A cold, sharp metal blade is pressed against his collar and thus his neck. You want to live? I'll give you 5 minutes. Run. The young man's voice is chillingly playful, reminiscent of a child taunting caged animals at a zoo. It would be infuriating if Linton weren't paralyzed with fear. He glances back to see the door to the cargo area is wide open. A nauseating stench of blood wafts out. Inside, a few motionless researchers are drenched in crimson. They're clearly beyond help. In the center of the compartment, 2 sets of restraints that should have secured a person have been cut open. The escape now crouches beside him, his blade brandished. Only one thought races through Linton's mind. Run! He stumbles into an alley. It's so dark that not even the moon casts its light here. He crouches behind a large dumpster, his heart pounding so violently that he swears he can hear his nerves screaming. Time's up. I hope you found a good spot. Footsteps echo at the alley's entrance and are accompanied by the young man's cheerful laughter. Linton swallows, hugging his knees, and willing himself to become inconspicuous, like a discarded piece of trash. Through a small gap, he peeks out. He sees a slender figure, tall for his age, moving with unnervingly carefree steps as he searches and talks. If it weren't for the shining blade in his hand and the blood staining his clothes, Linton could almost believe this was just some harm-free game of hide-and-seek. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of footsteps on pavement fades to the distance. Linton allows himself to breathe and shakily stands up. Something moves in his periphery, but when he turns to look, there's nothing but darkness. It's over, Linton reassures himself. Not quite, the voice chuckles. The laugh is like a cold hand tapping Linton's shoulder. His legs give away, and he tumbles as he turns. Terrified, he stares at the figure emerging from the shadows. You! But I heard you... Walk away? The young man grins, seemingly in high spirits. Your ears must not be working. I never left. Impossible. Terror floods Linton's mind. Without thinking, he scrambles to his feet and dashes to the unobstructed exit. Not so fast. You didn't think it'd be that easy, did you? Another figure suddenly appears and blocks Linton's last escape route. Linton finally understands what's happening. Two individuals with identical faces have him cornered from both sides. They wear the same sly grins, and they fiddle with their blades in perfect unison. Why can't I memorize how this word is pronounced? Never mind. Allow me to do the introductions. I'm Luke, and the one behind you is my shadow, Kieran. We were going to let you off the hook, but someone snitched on us to the guards when we tried to escape last time. That was you, right? Linton breaks into a cold sweat. No, it wasn't. I just... Okay, save your excuses. Kieran, holding a blade, rests his cold hand on Linton's shoulder again, which sends another shiver down his spine. People will say anything when they're begging for their lives. One of the researchers told us how sorry they felt for us. You think we believe that? Luke, do you want to do the honors, or shall I? I'll do it. Any last words? On second thought, don't bother. I'm not really in the mood to listen. Kieran sits cross-legged in the filthy alley, resting his chin on his hand as he watches Luke pin Linton against the wall and press the blade to his throat. In the darkest hour of the night, the spurting blood vanishes, and so, the final cry of a life on death's door is swallowed by the darkness. Monozygotic twin comparative test record. Subject ID 808. Subject names Luke, Kieran. Age 16. Experimental side effects log. Subjects mutually influence each other's visual, pain, and auditory senses. So they're basically one and the same. Here are examples of this phenomenon. 1. The subject Luke can see images within Kieran's field of vision, and vice versa. Wait. So if these two guys, if one of them has a girlfriend, they're gonna have to share the same girlfriend, I think. Or they could have. I mean, they could have their own girlfriend. They can see it. That is an interesting thought. Let me continue before my brain starts to work up scenarios. 2. The subjects Luke and Kieran can experience the same level of pain at the same time. And is it other stuff other than pain? Never mind. 3. ... Y'all not gonna tell us about these? Maybe it's a secret for the 6th chapter. Evaluation results. After the protocore exposure, both subjects show rejection reactions. A transformation occurring within 3 months is highly possible. Comprehensive risk assessment far exceeds standard values. Subjects are to be transferred to the disposal site for termination. Whoa! Notes. The disposal site is adjacent to the N109 zone. Researchers must complete the firearms request form and collect weapons for self-defense before leaving. Transformation within 3 months. That's a fancy way of saying we won't live past 3 months. Kieran wipes the blood from his face and hands Luke a dirt-smudged document from the ground. After skimming it, Luke shrugs and nonchalantly scratches his chin. It's just a prediction, right? They might be wrong. Didn't someone outlive their estimate before? The younger one of the 303 twins. Phi something? I can't remember. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We finally made it out, and if we only have 3 months left... Luke leans against the armored truck. He raises an eyebrow. Then his eyes widen as he looks at Kieran, and he pounds his fist on the hood excitedly. What is it? Based on that reaction alone, Kieran knows his brother's mind is probably concocting another scheme to turn the world upside down. Since we're on borrowed time anyway, why don't we go out with a bang? How about doing something epic in these last 3 months? Eager, Kieran leans in. Despite Luke's ideas, always ending up as messes, he has to clean up. The prospect of doing something epic still holds an irresistible allure. What do you have in mind? Check this out, Luke points to the name. N109 zone, in the notes section of the document. Do you remember Silus? The guy the researchers mentioned before. Odocore smuggler. Yeah, that the ruthless boss of Anakinus? Exactly. Excited, Luke hops onto the hood of the truck. Let's kill him. Nothing can be more epic than that, right? You guys are not gonna know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna be that you're all working for him. Kieran bursts into a fit of laughter. What if he's 100 times stronger than us? If we try to kill him, wouldn't that be even more fun? They exclaim in unison. But Kieran quickly suppresses his bubbling excitement. He tries to be sensible. Wouldn't it be easier for Silus to kill us than for us to kill him? So what? Luke sits cross-legged, the enthusiasm in his voice gradually fading and being replaced with calm. Have you seen the ones who transformed? I'd rather get killed and die early than become something like that. After a long silence, Kieran nods. He crumples up the document and tosses it behind him. True, we should count ourselves lucky if we get killed by him. You ready? Let's go. In the depths of night, the two brothers walk side by side down a path that leads a person away from all light. It lazily stretches into the horizon. I hope Silus turns out to be an interesting guy. Here's the second rule of a successful ambush. Know your enemy. It's been 14 days since Luke and Kieran arrived in the N109 zone. For the past 2 weeks, they heard all sorts of rumors about Silus. I heard Silus has been in cahoots with Wanderers for ages. He's waiting for the right moment to blow up the N109 zone. Well, they say Silus has a permanent luxury suite at Solon Hotel. The walls are stuffed with the bodies of his enemies. It's haunted at night. Oh, I heard Silus is the son of that stock market tycoon from Lincoln City. Really? Someone told me Silus is the stock market tycoon himself. Kieran doubles over from laughing, but his hands never stop crafting darts. So, did you find out what Silus actually looks like? They say he doesn't have a fixed appearance. He wears a new face every day. No one has ever seen his real appearance. He's gorgeous. ... Luke can't help but chuckle at his own words. Before he can finish laughing, Kieran chimes in. Well, I heard he's quite young, but he has to drink the blood of teenagers every day just to maintain his human form. Laughter fills the small house they've claimed as their temporary home once more. Most buildings in the N109 zone are renovated from previously derelict structures. In the shadows where neon lights from the bustling streets don't reach. It's easy to find a vacant space that's not too dilapidated. It's perfect for 2 unexpected visitors new to the area, but Luke and Kieran aren't the only new faces. Every day, people like them flood into the N109 zone. Lately, their neighbors have been multiplying. Some disappear after a few encounters, never to be seen again. Others schedule a get-together one night and fail to show, only for the twins to learn the next day that they died 2 blocks over. The N109 zone is like a beast lurking in the darkness. Its maw is wide open to devour everyone who stumbles in. Here, death is just a matter of time. The only way to cheat it is to find the master of this savage beast, and his name is Silus. In their 2 weeks here, amid all these far-fetched rumors, everyone seems to agree only on one thing: kill him, replace him, or become his subordinate. Last night, someone told me Silus is celebrating his 80th birthday today. The party is at. The ice maker in the room suddenly interrupts Luke's dubious rumor. It's the only appliance in the house that still works. Luke waits next to it. He scoops up 2 cubes as they fall and pops them into his mouth. He turns back. You want some ice? Kieran waves his hand. Ice reminds me of when I got beat up. I'll pass. Laughter fills the room as Luke tosses an ice cube at Kieran, before flopping onto the couch and crossing his legs. Serves you right. Years ago, during their first escape attempt, Kieran had gotten into a scuffle with the guards and ended up with a mouthful of blood. 2 weeks in solitary confinement couldn't break him. He endured the pain in stubborn silence and refused all medical treatment. In the adjacent cell, Luke yelled at him. Next time you decide to play tough guy before the medical staff, could you maybe ask me beforehand? I'm also in pain. Oh, that is so funny. It is so funny that they're connected like that. I already like this story. I like these two. During that time, Luke developed his love for ice. It was to initially numb the pain that wasn't his own, and it later developed into a thrill for the cold. Oh, you would love Zayne. Oh, why am I like this? Kieran, after his 2-week confinement, took the lesson to heart. The day his punishment ended, he exacted his revenge with a dart he made. After that, crafting darts became a hobby. It brought him joy. Remember Sherman? He's the guy we met at Elysium. Kieran quickly shakes off the cold and picks up where he left off. Yeah, the peacock. How could I forget? Anyone who can strut around the N109 zone like that and still breathe must have some serious support. Luke crunches the ice in his mouth. You think Silus is behind him? What are we waiting for then? Let's find him. He's about to bolt out the door when Kieran, as if he's done this a million times, grabs his collar and pulls him back. He presses the finished darts into Luke's hand before releasing him. Now we can go. I've been tailing Sherman for a while. Onykinus is about to attend an important business meeting. Silus might be there. We should check it out. Luke pockets the darts and pushes his slightly overgrown hair to the back. When he opens the door, he notices Kieran tying his hair back into a short ponytail. After thinking for a bit, Luke ties his hair back same style. Nighttime on the rooftop across from Solon Hotel. In the luxury suite where the deal is being discussed, the curtains are half drawn. Through the gap, a hand with elegant, pronounced knuckles is visible. It idly taps on the leather armrest. A velvet box is humbly presented to the hand's owner. The individual pauses before leisurely waving his fingers. Someone with a deferential demeanor takes the box away. Although the hanging curtains obscure the faces of everyone in the room, it's not difficult to discern who bears the name Silus. It's a legendary as it is dangerous based on that interaction. Across the street and perched on the edge of the rooftop, two figures watch them as if it were a movie. Luke, his eyes alight with excitement, points out something. Silus isn't carrying a weapon. Isn't he afraid of someone making a move? His question is swiftly answered. The deferential attitude fails to save the life of Silas's business partner. Silus strikes so fast that even the rooftop audience can't follow his movement. His actions are a blur. They see a terrified body yanked to the window by an invisible force. A mist swallows it. When it dissipates, nothing remains of the man. Talk about burying a body that no one will find. Oh, Silus doesn't need to carry a weapon because he's a weapon himself. No one in the luxurious suit dares to move. The deal's participants and Silas's underlings bow and lower their heads. Silus finally stands up, and Luke and Kieran see his face. He looks indifferent, as if the scene before him isn't his doing. The ceiling light casts ominous shadows across his features as he turns. He sweeps his gaze across the street. The two brothers, spectators, a few seconds ago, suddenly become alert. Their bodies react faster than their minds. They propel themselves off the ledge and into the shadows with lightning-fast speed. Did he see us? I doubt it. We're so far away from him. Is his eyesight that good? An inexplicable feeling sends a chill down their spines. After a moment, they cautiously peek out from the edge of the rooftop. Silus has already left. Did he look bored to you? Luke breaks the silence. You mean when he dealt with that guy, or when he left? Both. Kieran hadn't particularly paid attention to Silas's demeanor, knowing Luke would keep an eye on it. He noticed something else. From the moment Silus entered the room, it was as if an invisible barrier had formed around him. No one dared to cross this unseen line to stand near him. It remained that way until the very end. He had entered alone, and he left alone. Kieran can't help but muse out loud. Is there someone who can get close to Silus? After 2 weeks of gathering intel, he had expected Silus to be surrounded by people. Now it seems they couldn't be further from the truth. No allies dare to stand beside him, and no enemies can stand against him. Just like the expression on his face. Everything seems boring to him. No one, Luke and Kieran declaring new action. The thought of Silus living such a tedious life for a long time, while still having countless years ahead of him, stirs a flicker of pity in their hearts. Then again, if they kill him, that's a different story. This is the third rule of a successful ambush. Exploit your advantage when the enemy least expects it. For Luke and Kieran, their advantage lies in their sameness. Identical faces, identical builds, identical movements. They're almost the same person. It's enough to lower their opponent's guard and make them believe there's only one person. This trick has never failed them. From the streets they grew up in to Ever's research facility, it continues to work in the N109 zone. Whether it's purchasing necessities from someone who increases prices after glancing at Luke, fending off strangers who try to rob Kieran of their supplies, or slipping past a merchant into a Protocore warehouse. Just like their names suggest, one is always in the light, and the other is in the shadows. One plays the conspicuous target while the other lurks in the dark, ready to strike. Side effects from the experiment have become their strength. When they act together, they're even more coordinated than one person. On Wednesday night, the concert hall in the N109 zone's bustling district will host a grand performance at Mr. R's invitation. Raphael? An orchestra was rushed over here after their international tour. For the first time, the hall's pipe organ sheds its dusty, protective cover. It's not an important event, but after the hall manager repeatedly refused those willing to pay exorbitant prices for a seat, this performance and the mysterious Mr. R have become a hot topic in the N109 zone. In a corner unnoticed by all, 2 inconspicuous insects quietly enter the concert hall. Kieran is looking at 2 very different scenes. He crouches to hide behind the auditorium seats. Not far away, in the center of this space, sits Silus. Kieran can only see Silus' back. The vast concert hall stands empty, save for this lone figure. And his question resurfaces. Is there someone who can get close to Silus? Yet Silus just sits there. He's resting his eyes and waiting for the concert to begin, like a normal person would. Kieran knows the concert start will inevitably be delayed because of the other scene he's looking at. Through Luke's eyes, he sees the dressing room where the impeccably dressed conductor and the orchestra members are bound one by one. Sheet music has been stuffed in their mouths to muffle any cries. After his hard work, Luke dusts himself off and bends down to retrieve a fallen dart. He's packed quite a punch. The protocors really do make a difference. He's in awe. The protocor makes the dart feel a bit awkward to hold, but it's tolerable. Luke shakes his hand and checks himself in the mirror. Something's missing. He yanks the conductor's jacket off and puts it on. Should I go on stage with this? They're so fun. Just like 2 clowns. Their ability to converse effortlessly even when apart is perhaps the most useful side effect. It's a little too big. Try that violinist's outfit, the one from the 3rd row. Oh, this is a lot better. Ready? Wait! Luke takes a step toward the stage before stopping. He turns back to the dressing room and picks up an ice cube from the wine bucket on the table. He pops it in his mouth and crunches it. Now I'm ready. Just before he goes on stage, he hears Kieran's voice again. Before we do this, any last words? Nope, I have nothing to say. It's pointless anyway. They're still going to die. They might as well save the energy and wear a smile instead. Let's do this. The lights in the hall dim as the performance is scheduled to begin at this time. The curtain slowly rises, and a spotlight switches on with a click. Luke is on stage within a few quick strides, and stops before Silus. There's no music, but Silus doesn't open his eyes. It's as if he anticipated this. Luke's excitement grows. His hand, initially reaching for the dart, changes course on a whim. He grabs 2 small circular devices hidden at his waist and flings them at Silus. Mind if I borrow 2? No, 3 minutes of your time. Let me have a go at killing you before the concert starts. His words echo through the hall. Small projectiles hurtled at Silus are suspended in the soft mist around him. The person who stopped them with his power hasn't even lifted a finger. Luke grins. You might want to open your eyes. It could get messy, even for Ornithinus's boss man. As soon as he closed his mouth, spheres squeezed by the black-red mist suddenly burst. With a loud splash, water drenches the seat around Silus. Silus opens his eyes, his finger on his temple. Luke shrugs. I told you. What's your motive? Silus' nonchalant question echoes through the concert hall. My reason for wanting to kill you, huh? Luke rubs his face and pretends to be deep in thought. In the N109 zone, a lot of people want Silus dead. For profit, revenge, or because they're weak. He wonders if a spur-of-the-moment decision would pique the curiosity of this man who leads on a kindness. But he decides to drag it out, at least for the show. That way he can buy time for Kieran, who's moving stealthily through the shadows. As their conversation continues, Kieran silently positions himself. Now directly behind Silus, he holds several darts between his fingers. They're aimed at Silus's carotid artery. Through Luke's eyes, he monitors Silus' movements and confirms the man's attention is fixed on Luke, who's still fumbling for an answer. He's oblivious to Kieran's presence. Kieran bends his knees and prepares to lounge. And then, before he moves, he hears Silus's derisive chuckle. If you want to kill me, at least use a method that's less boring. From a distance, Kieran senses Luke's body go rigid on stage. He quickly realizes why Luke reacted that way. It's because of him. At some point, 2 wisps of black-red mist have enveloped his body, although they looked easy to shake off. They pinned him in place. Can't move. How did Silus notice him? Restraining one of them effortlessly subdues the other. The owner of this power closes his eyes once more. Twins are then lifted into the air and hurtled out of the concert hall, one after the other. The hall's doors slam shut. The lingering echo, a composed mockery of their failed attempt. Huh? The twins scratch their heads before checking their necks, arms, and legs. They stare blankly at the concert hall's opulent chandelier before reality sinks in. Silus didn't kill us? Is it because he realized that they're kids? In the documents it said that they were 16, but I don't know for how long it's been since those experiments. No, they should be like 16 then, because 3 months. It said in the documents that they have 3 months. So they should be 16. Still shocked, Kieran sits up reluctantly. That's the first time we've ever been caught! Luke, still sprawled in the position he landed, tugs at Kieran's arm. But did you hear what he said? What? He called us boring! Oh, these 2 jesters. The fighting arena in the N109 zone lurks behind the facade of a 5-story building with neon lights. An oversized ring that surpasses expectations will greet you once you enter. Spectator seats climb the surrounding walls, and the highest one is perched almost perpendicular to the ring. At first glance, it looks like a fortress or lair of some ferocious beast. Noticing the members of Onychinuses frequenting the place lately, Luke and Kieran tear down and recruit fire plastered outside and knock on the door. Get lost, we're not hiring. You're as skinny as a rail. I bet you 2 would die 100 times before landing a single punch. Hey, don't body shame them. The door is slammed shut. The burly arena owner glares at them through a small window before stomping downstairs. Kieran chuckles. A rail? We're scarecrows at least. The next morning, Luke and Kieran are back and knock on the door to the arena. The owner answers, cursing under his breath. He freezes. The arena's fighters, mysteriously missing since dawn, are sprawled on the ground, clutching their stomach and whimpering. The two young men he turned away yesterday grin. So, about your staff shortage. The reason for Onakainus' frequent visits soon becomes clear. On Wednesday night, the members of Onakainus storm into the arena with one goal: take this place down. As the two groups clash in the arena with their weapons drawn, the leader of Onakainus materializes in the place with the best view. He surveys the chaos below unperturbed. Amidst the mayhem, the twins, having already shed their fighter outfit, move behind him. They exchange glances. Then the two get down on one knee. Here's the fourth rule of a successful ambush. Swiftly abandon flawed tactics and use new strategies to confuse your opponent. Boss, we want to be your followers. ... Noticing Silus' silence, the two continue to speak. We'll be your blades, boss. We'll handle all the dirty work you can't be bothered with. Whether it's assassination or heists or pranks and scheming, we'll take care of it, boss. Our loyalty is yours. And approaching footsteps interrupt their unsolicited. Oh my gosh, how do you say that word? Unsolicited. I know I've heard this so many times. Never mind. Oath. The tips of Silas's shoes appear in Luke and Kieran's vision, and intimidation washes over them. Kieran looks at Luke from the corner of his eye. He sees the barely contained excitement in his brother's gaze. What will Silus do next? Luke is waiting for it. And Kieran realizes his own expression must mirror his twins. From the moment they were born, they were the same. They don't need mirrors. Simply looking at each other is enough to know their own faces. I have no use for trash, Silus states. A knife clatters to the ground between them. Prove yourselves. They look up and meet Silus' stern gaze. Below, gunfire erupts and blood splatters. The chaotic battle beckons. Less than half an hour, the gleaming knife is stained a dark red. The twins present it to Silus. Well, the trash is on the ground now. You want us to do anything else? The sounds of combat have turned into barely audible pleas for mercy. In the vast arena, only Silus, Luke, and Kieran remain standing. The hands holding the knife slightly tremble from excitement, not fear. Fresh blood drips from the blade's tip, their palms, and their nearly identical faces. It stains the once clean spectator walkways. The knife's cold glint reflects in Silas's eyes. He tilts his chin up slightly and smirks. Now use each other's lives to prove yourselves. So that's what it was. Kieran hears laughter echoing in his mind. Luke is laughing, and he's laughing too. So that's what it was. Silus is also looking for some fun. They lost count of how many times they've fought like this. Because of those side effects, their senses are bound. Fighting each other during heated arguments no longer relieves their anger. Instead, it's a form of self-torture, but they soon discovered that fighting could earn them many things. Painkillers, sedatives. If the fight was severe enough, even a pass on the next day's trials. So, despite their reluctance, they became expert at fighting each other. Silus sits in the spectator seat. He watches the twins fight for the knife with an amused expression. Their faces are fierce, their movements swift and precise. Only when they draw near each other is there a barely perceptible hesitation, a quick exchange of glances as they try to come up with a strategy. Silus props up his chin on his hand. He can sense the brothers' true intentions. These young beasts are putting on a show. They carefully hide their fangs and claws while waiting for the right moment to throw the knife. Little do they know that their target has already grown weary of such tricks. Still, Silus stays in his seat. The persistence of these weaklings suddenly piqued his curiosity. He wants to see how this will play out. That's when the unexpected happens. The sharp sound of crystals piercing skin fills the air. The twin holding the knife goes limp, crying out in pain as he collapses. Like snakes, black crystals crawl up his face from within his body and reaches his eyes. In an instant, the other twin, seemingly unharmed, also falls to his knees because of the unbearable agony. Their show falls apart and is replaced by the onset of the transformation. The knife tumbles to the ground and stops at Silas's feet. He bends down to pick it up. A crystal-covered hand trembles as it desperately reaches for the blade. Silus smirks and hands it over. The person before him musters all his strength to aim the knife at his heart. He tries to push it in, but he hesitates and freezes as he notices his brother, who's bound to him, curl up into a ball because of their shared agony. These two are like marionettes tangled in invisible strings. When one transforms, the other feels inexplicable torment. Silus watches with keen interest. He wonders if this bond will remain unbroken even in the face of death. He knows this question now looms over them like a suffocating nightmare. I'm also here like sitting and wondering if he feels something, like that he sees the bond between Luke and Kieran. Is he maybe thinking about his bond with MC? He stays because he wants to know what they'll do. The knife's tip veers off by a few centimeters, then the twin slashes the knife upward. The crystals shatter and the blood splatters onto the spectator seats. Twin abandons the thought of ending his life and instead violently gouges out the crystals. Silus slowly claps. At least you've got some guts. He lifts the knife again, but is quickly intercepted by the other twin. Although he's unaffected by the transformation, he's forced to endure the pain due to their shared senses. Still, he grips his brother's hand. Don't worry about me. His voice lacks its usual lilt and is replaced by a chilling calm. Let me help you. I'll help you. The weight behind the word help is unmistakable. Its true meaning is unspoken, but clearly understood. Okay. Luke and Kieran have never realized how loud a heartbeat could be until now. Perhaps this is the noise a person only hears at life's end. They come to the same conclusion while the one who didn't transform struggles to the knife. Besides them, a fiend whispers, "If you do this, you won't survive either." I'll die with him. That's his response to Silus. Takes a few deep breaths before flashing a sly grin. I don't care anyway. Is that so? A wisp of black-red mist suddenly plunges into his twin's chest. A more intense pain immediately follows. The trembling now mixed with a fear they've never experienced before. It's the fear of dying. Silus intends to kill them this time. But they're just kids, Silus. But we know that they live. It feels as if a chunk of their chest is missing. Their limbs gradually numb, the cold blood building up in their throats. They shudder uncontrollably. At first, they manage to hide their terror. But as the mist grows sharper and touches their beating hearts. So this is what death feels like. The feeling of being at death's door finally breaks the resolve. Fragmented pleas escape their lips. No! But the agony of their demise intensifies. Silas's towering figure blurs into a beast toying with its prey. Their internal organs feel violently constricted, their desperate desire to live drowning in pain. Panting, they spit out blood and raise their voices. Stop! I thought you had a death wish. We don't! With a derisive snort, Silus opens his palm. The mist dissipates before it claims their lives. The once bright room is plunged into darkness. A strong force surrounds the twins and shatters their growing black crystals. A ringing persists in Luke and Kieran's ears, but the pain vanishes in a heartbeat. In the N109 zone, dying is easy, Silus says as he leaves, his tone almost teasing. Staying alive, now that's the real proof of strength. Boss, we're not here to kill you this time. 2 weeks have passed, and Luke and Kieran once again stand before Silus. They have fully recovered. One was never injured in the first place, and the other's wounds, a result of gouging out the crystals, have healed. There are only grotesque scars on his face and body, otherwise they appear healthy. We genuinely want to be your followers. Emphasizing this statement, they drop to one knee. Silus is slightly irritated. Drop the act. After the twins exchange glances, Luke looks up with a sly grin. Actually, we're curious to see if anyone can kill you, boss. Since we couldn't do it, we want to stick around and see if someone else can. Oh, these strange kids. They widen their eyes soon after. If they're not mistaken, Silus flashed a cold smile, tinged with anticipation. It's an expression they've never seen before, but the smile vanishes so quickly that they wonder if they imagined it. After a moment of hesitation, Luke lowers his head again and speaks in a respectful tone. Boss, that Sherman guy is suspicious. We'll keep an eye on him for you. Bowing his head, Kieran adds, we know his address, his usual spots, and his contacts. We can report to you every 2 weeks. Go then. These words constitute the only command they receive. Understood, boss. When they finally stand up, they realize Silus has already vanished. As they exit the base, the streets of the N109 zone remain as sunless as ever. Passing a glass wall, they pause to look at their reflections. It's been years since they used a mirror, since they always used each other. It's an extra perk of being identical twins. But now, that's no longer possible. I still think twins should look like twins. Luke pulls out the backpack he's been carrying and fishes out 2 masks. He tosses one to Kieran and puts the other on himself. I got 303 to make these. Just found out he set up a workshop in the N109 zone. Try it. I almost thought he was gonna slash his face to match the other. Kieran examines the mask in his hands and holds it up to his face. It's a perfect fit. He puts it on and playfully taps Luke with the long beak of his mask. Why are we even wearing these in the first place? No reason, but with them, we're identical again. It's noon. The 2 young men walk side by side, down a path that shines all light. They stretch lazily. What do you think his smile meant? Can someone actually kill him? I'm guessing it's a no. Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, considering what happened in the story, when MC shot him, well, he was the one who pulled the trigger. But when he got shot and he was healed up, maybe, the only one who can actually kill him is MC. Why that would be, No clue as to. But it would be tragic. Like, very, very much angst. But then again, those stories are usually very memorable. Maybe I'll call it a day for now. I'ma take my well-earned crystals. Let's see how many we have. Whoa, there's quite a few. No, no! What did I do? Be there. Whenever I see Viper, I'm like, ugh, this freaking guy. He annoys me so freaking much. I really dislike him. Okay, we are gonna continue reading today, World Underneath. Hopefully there won't be anything to cry about, because
this picture book looks interesting. Want to read it together?
I was gonna read World Underneath, but you know, you come along. Why do I have cat hairs all over my face? Did I? No. I think it's gone. No? No? Hold on a second. Where is it? Great start! Very great start. Did I even finish what I was gonna say? Yeah, what I was gonna say is hopefully there won't be anything to cry about, because I have mascara on today, which is very unusual. I don't want to leave this place. Oh my god, he dressed up so nice today! And he even got earrings on. Look at that.
You've been sneaking around for quite a while. Finally gonna talk to me? Why are you so passionate today? In that case, I won't lose.
Oh my goodness!
How about this?
You can do whatever you want, mister. Let's go to World Underneath. Where was we? We already... Yeah, Mischeif I did. Yesterday. So, Frontline Hunter. Beep beep. It's the middle of the night at the Hunters Association. In the center of the room, a holographic control console displays a 3D map of Lincoln City. A blinking red dot keeps flashing at one spot. Then a hand reaches out and silences the alert. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. How may I help you? Stay calm. Have your location. Head to the nearest shelter immediately to avoid another wanderer attack. Colin, who has been a hunter dispatcher for 12 years, handles emergencies like it's nothing. He quickly forwards the incident details to the nearest hunters on the map. Almost immediately, two small blue dots on the holographic display begin racing toward the yellow one. A timer appears overhead. 10 precious minutes for the rescue to succeed. Deployed medical teams, hazard alarms, real-time positioning now active. The dispatchers coordinate seamlessly, their hands moving swiftly across an array of holographic screens. Together, they weave an invisible safety net over Lincoln City. Finally, the yellow dot disappears from the map. The countdown stops at 8:27. Colin watches the holographic map return to normal. He sighs in relief, sorts through the information he collected, and begins drafting his first incident report of the day. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number... blah, blah, blah. Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C-class. Details. A single Wanderer, an elemental subspecies, appeared in the riverside area of the Imperial Ring District. Target was neutralized, and the cleanup crew has been notified. No civilian casualties. Status? Resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. That's a typical day at the Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. 6 a.m. Lights remain around the clock at the dispatch center. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. How may I... Help! It's a Wanderer! It's trying to kill us! Hurry! The call has barely gone through when frantic screams nearly burst Colin's eardrums. Stay calm and tell me about the situation to the best of your ability, he says as he hits the location tracker. A young man's shaky voice answers. There are 3 of us, and an older lady with her groceries. A loud roar drowns him out. Then, it's followed by blood-curdling screams. Are you still there? Hello? Hello? Colin calls out to them. There's only silence. Next to him, the surveillance officer pulls up local traffic feeds. Captain Colin, we've contacted the hunters on patrol. They need approximately 6 minutes to get there. 6 minutes? Colin feels powerless. This is what usually happens. No matter how fast the dispatch center reacts, it still takes time for help to arrive. All they can do is provide the hunters with a clear route. And then... No! Let me go! Ah! The desperate shrieks returning through the speaker make everyone's stomach drop. Their worst nightmare is becoming a reality. Despite having heard these agonizing cries countless times before, watching a life slip away in real time is still unsettling. Before a few dispatchers can turn away, gunfire erupts on the other end. The Wanderer lets out one last screech before falling to the ground with a heavy thud. They survived. Relieved, Colin glances at the map, frowns when he notices the 2 blue dots are still too far away to have reached the designated site. The hunters haven't arrived. So, who fired the shots? That's it? And you call this a robbery? Luckily for you, I took my gun for maintenance while I was out getting groceries. Otherwise, you'd be in real trouble. A confident female voice shouts. Robbery? Gun? Colin and his co-worker exchange looks of bewilderment. Before they can say anything, panicked shouts come over the line again. Ah, ma'am! It's standing back up! Help us! Hurry! What are you doing? Get behind me! More shots ring out. Then the Wanderer's cry fades. Colin sees the yellow dot on the map disappear. Everyone at the dispatch center stares at one another in astonishment. Moments later, the comms crackle, and that same confident voice returns. Hello? Hunter Dispatch Center? Colin responds immediately. Yes, we're here. Is anyone hurt? No. No injuries, but we'll need a cleanup crew for the mess. The response is quick. The Wanderer was an A-type. It's already been dealt with. Also, the security department should be dispatched. The victims were actually attempting a robbery. Please notify the special task force to investigate. Understood. And you are... The practiced precision in her response has already given him the answer. Sure enough, the seasoned, composed voice on the other end confirms his suspicions. Retired Hunter, former sector, Dawn, ID number 141. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. The case number, Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C-class. Details. 3 young men attempted to rob a woman near a Bloomshore district market when a wanderer, a bestial subspecies, appeared. The would-be victim eliminated the wanderer with her own hunter-grade firearm. The woman was confirmed to be a retired hunter. Cleanup is en route, and no civilian injuries were reported. Note: the 3 suspects have been turned over to the authorities for attempted robbery. Status: resolved. Reporting dispatcher: Colin. Colin finishes his report, glances at the clock, and realizes he missed lunch. Darn it! He grabs a pack of instant noodles, I love noodles, and heads to the break room. Noodles again? A colleague drops the latest Wanderer activity report in front of him when he returns to his desk. The Wanderers have been too active lately. Yeah, it's related to a Deepspace tunnel anomaly or a protocol malfunction. I hear they sent someone to investigate. But who knows what they'll find? His colleague plops into the chair next to him and sips his soy milk. Ugh, I told the cafeteria guy I wanted it sugar-free. I'm cutting back on sugar. Which I should do as well. And this just messed up my diet. Hey, at least we have a cafeteria. Colin smiles. The Alpha team doesn't get that luxury. True, they're not stuck at the desk all day either, the colleague responds. Then he pauses, remembering the grueling practical assessments those people endured. Forget it. I guess I should just be... The communication device at the dispatch center buzzes again. To Colin's surprise, a familiar voice speaks. Hey, Captain Colin, it's me, Orson. An overly ingratiating tone comes through as soon as the call connects. Can you arrest me right now? What? Orson, the Lincoln City Police Department's infamous repeat offender, is known for protocol smuggling. Caught countless times, he's always finding new ways to stir up trouble. As a dispatcher, Colin usually doesn't deal with criminals directly, but Orson managed to change that when his greed for protocols led him to target live wanderers. Back then, a wanderer had him crawling around like a cornered rat. Desperate, he called the dispatch center for help. Thanks to Colin's quick thinking and precise directions, he survived long enough for the hunters to arrive. Without that, he'd probably be nothing more than a bloody smear under a wanderer's claws. To show his gratitude, Orson gifted Colin a ceremonial banner that had the following: The Voice of Salvation, a dispatcher protecting life itself. You little... Didn't 5 months in jail teach you anything? Colin feels a vein bulge at the sound of that familiar voice. I swear I'm not smuggling protocols this time, Orson stammers. I'm just selling rock candy, that's all. It's not protocol candies, right? It's not crystal candies, is it? Orson isn't illegally selling protocols this time. He's making rock candy that looks like protocols. Okay then, if it's candy, it's candy. Since his buyers don't dare to report him, his scam thrives. It's even disrupting the market with cheap prices. But his success doesn't go unnoticed. A crime syndicate involved in protocol smuggling has marked him as a target. Orson, you really are a piece of work, Colin says through gritted teeth. Please, Captain Colin, send over a hunter to save me. They've tracked me down and are outside my house with protocol weapons. If they get me, I'm as good as dead. Orson's voice cracks from desperation. As much as Colin wants to ignore him, he knows he can't. Protocol smuggling isn't a minor crime, and dealing with an organized gang armed with protocore weapons is far beyond what a single hunter can handle. Activate the emergency response protocol, Colin states without hesitation. Understood. The surveillance officer's fingers race across the keyboard and a yellow dot on the holographic map flashes red. The emergency response protocol is a high-level procedure triggered only for the threats equivalent to 5 or more wanderers. It requires the coordinated effort of at least 5 hunters. After issuing the order, Colin is worried about whether or not they can gather enough hunters in time. To his surprise, the mission is accepted. Almost immediately. 2 blue dots light up on the screen, and Colin lets out a sigh of relief. Good, now we just need 3 more. His words catch in his throat as his eyes widen. The 2 blue dots are charging into the rescue zone. Send a message to intercept them right now. Colin feels his head start to pound. This is clearly a high-level mission. Are they out of their minds? Wait! Excited, the surveillance officer calls out. I think they're from unicorns. Unicorns? Are you sure? Colin whirls around. Every hunter knows about unicorns. They're the best combat unit under the Hunters Association. Known for their unmatched power and fast responses, they specialize in tackling extremely dangerous wanderer incidents that regular hunters can't handle. Colin has never met them, but he heard their stories. Their elite sector is small and notoriously unconventional. One rumor claims a unicorns hunter once blew up an entire subway station just to take down a wanderer. That's dramatic. They're definitely not the kind of people he wants to mess with. But right now, that's exactly what he needs. Captain Colin, they're here! Orson's voice crackles through the communication device. He's tense and shaky, but there's only 2 of them. Can they handle this? There are 8 or 9 guys here. Oh! Orson lets out a startled cry as chaos erupts on the other end of the communication device. It's followed by panicked screams. Orson? Orson! Colin calls out, his voice tinged with urgency. Just as everyone is holding their breath, Orson's voice comes through again. Captain! Captain Colin! The people you sent are insane! They just showed up and everyone went down. Protocore weapons? They didn't even get a chance to pull them out. Everyone in the room collectively sighs in relief. Good. We'll send someone to pick you up. Stay put. Colin frowns and hears a strange crunching sound from the communication device. Before he can ask, a clear female voice shouts. Xavier, stop eating the evidence! Of course! Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number... Incident type, protocore smuggling. Threat level, A-class. Details. Shellbank District, Orson, a repeat offender with 8 protocore smuggling charges, sought assistance from the dispatch center after facing retaliation from a crime syndicate over his sale of counterfeit protocores that were actually dyed rock candy. The involved criminal organization has been successfully apprehended. Orson, the reporting party, has been handed over to the relevant authorities for investigation of fraud. Note: a portion of the evidence is suspected to have been consumed. But was it good though, Xavier? Status resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. Lincoln's Joy Sky offers the most comprehensive selection of fresh vegetables and fresh products at affordable prices. Colin steps out of the supermarket. He's holding a steaming box of fried chicken. He stretches, content. His busy day is finally over, and all he wants to do now is head home and enjoy some well-deserved rest. The supermarket is not far from his apartment. All it takes is a walk through the business district and the plaza. It's rush hour, and many parents are walking with their children. The setting sun lights up their joyful figures and casts bouncing shadows on the ground. Colin pauses, unable to look away from this heartwarming scene. It's something he hasn't seen in a long time. As a survivor of the 2034 Chrono Rift catastrophe, he, like countless others, knows how hard-won today's peace is. And like many people, he chose to be a guardian of this precious tranquility. But even guardians need rest. At least for tonight, he'll relax. Mommy, there's a lollipop in the sky. As he passes a small fountain, he hears a little girl shouting excitedly to her parents and pointing up at the sky. Colin thinks this child must be imagining candy in the clouds. He glances up at the sky, but that single look makes his blood run cold. A terrifying howl cuts through the air and is followed by screams of frightened women. For a moment, no one reacts. The massive figures emerge from the dust, their bodies covered in jagged black crystals. Jenny, a mother in the distance, stares in horror as the spot where her daughter stood is covered in rubble. Her legs give out, and she falls to the ground. "Mommy!" A cry rings out. Hope flickers back into the woman's tearful eyes. Colin falls to the ground. He rolls a few times with the girl held tightly in his arms before stopping. As soon as he saw the wanderers, he dropped his fried chicken and sprinted over to save her. KFC chicken! A sharp pain shoots through his back. He's dizzy, but he forces himself to dial a number on his communication device. Hunter Dispatch Center. How may I help? Wanderers at Silver Bay Creek Plaza. There's 3 of them. And they're highly dangerous. Send backup. Captain Colin? The voice on the other end pauses, then it adopts a serious tone. Understood. We'll contact all nearby hunters right now. Roar. Frustrated, the wanderers shriek. They're furious that their prey has escaped. Their massive forelimbs, reminiscent of bulldozer blades, dig into the ground. They surge toward them again. Clutching the child to his chest, Colin rolls to the side. The monster's limb sweeps past them. It was close enough to graze his scalp. He shudders as he thinks about what would have happened if he had been a second slower. Boom! A powerful shockwave hurls Colin through the air. His vision darkens, and the world spins uncontrollably. When he manages to lift his head, he sees another wanderer towering right in front of him. The ground trembles beneath its cry. Its massive compound eyes glint coldly as they turn downward. Energy particles gather in its gaping maw. Just a little longer, Colin clenches his fist. He forces himself to stay conscious. Rescue should be here any... Bang, bang, bang! Gunshots ring out in quick succession. A beam of light slices through the Wanderer's attack as 2 figures leap before Colin. Captain Jenna, we've arrived at the designated location. Colin's eyes snap open at the sound of a clear, authoritative female voice. A young man and a woman stand before him. Their movements were swift like shooting stars. I wonder who these 2 shooting stars could be. Could it be MC and Xavier? After finishing her report, the female hunter lowers her communication device and briefly checks on Colin, confirming he's unhurt. She raises her weapon again. Let's move, Xavier. Without waiting. She dashes forward like an arrow. The male hunter, now a glowing blur, is right behind her. Roar! The Wanderer gathers energy particles in its maw again. It's preparing to launch another attack, but the female hunter is faster. She leaps onto the monster's shoulder and fires her gun at point-blank range. Bang! At the same time, her partner's light blade pierces the creature's weak spot. The 2 hunters kill the Wanderer before it can deploy its proto-field. Stunned, Colin can only watch in silence. What seemed like a deadly threat moments ago now lies in pieces as at their feet. They must be from unicorns. It's not long before the wanderers are eliminated. As the last one collapses, applause and cheers erupt from the gathered crowd. I'm wondering something. Okay, this has nothing to do with what is happening here, but just the word unicorns. The thing is that MC was called a unicorn during her experiments. What if everyone in unicorns has been experimented on somehow? And they just all unicorns. I don't know. Colin claps and puts extra effort into it. Let's go, Xavier, the female hunter says to her partner. The young man nods and picks up the hot pot ingredients he dropped during the fight. Watching their figures disappear into the distance, Colin suddenly feels that unicorns' eccentric methods don't seem strange anymore. At least they keep Lincoln City safe. A gentle tug on his sleeve interrupts his thoughts. Looking down, he sees the little girl he rescued staring at him. Come here, mister. I want to tell you something. She beckons him closer with a secretive look on her face. Amused, Colin crouches down. What is it? Without warning, the girl throws her arms around him. She's hugging him. Thank you, mister. Thank you for protecting me, she says with a serious expression on her face. Colin watches her skip back to her family. A lump forms in his throat. He lowers his head and rubs his nose to hide his emotions. His gaze falls on the box of fried chicken laying where he had dropped it earlier. The first thing he needs to do is rest properly tonight. Aww. And then we have Fractal Library Q&A. Okay, let's begin. Fractal Library Q&A. Why is it called the Fractal Library? A1. Hello, welcome to the Fractal Library. Since this is the very first question in our guest book, I'd like to use it as a chance to share the library's story. I've never been the type to settle down. Over the years, I did all sorts of jobs. Mason, gardener, delivery driver, janitor, clerk, and more. One day, I, drawn in by the peculiar name of this library, pushed open its doors. Inside, it was deserted and coated in dust. Driven by curiosity, I took a book from the shelf and opened it. In that moment, in that instant, a new universe unfolded before my eyes, and I fell in love with this place. While I was engrossed in reading, a telephone at the front desk rang, its chime echoing through the library's towering halls. For some reason, I approached the counter and answered the phone, as if beckoned by an unseen force. 10 minutes later, the call ended. I can't talk about what was discussed, but after that conversation, I became the library's administrator, and finally understood why it's called the Fractal Library. Most of the books here are science fiction. Nearly every fictional universe inside them branches out after its own Big Bang, and spawns countless worlds of infinite complexity. Oh, is that what is happening in this world? In this game world? Lincoln City? This planet? Yet their similarities are uncanny. The book themselves reflect this fractal nature, each with a sense of endless variety and overarching similarity. They highlight recursion, chapters mirroring the entire book, paragraphs echoing the chapter's themes, sentences extending the paragraph's ideas, multiple layers within their structure, like fractal patterns that reveal finer details, and non-linear complexity, interwoven narratives forming intricate. dynamic patterns. Realizing this only made me love the library more. I've never met its actual owner, so sometimes I imagine what I'd do if I were in charge. Maybe I'd rename it. The word fractal is a bit abstract. I might call it the 10 Library instead. Most of the books here are science fiction. And every time I open a new one, it feels like I'm witnessing the birth of a universe. That instant of... And what is that called? What is that called in English? It's not times. I don't know what it's called in English. Minus 33 seconds when the cosmos explodes from a tiny singularity. It's a name you could explain in a single sentence. Straightforward and easy to grasp. Still, whenever I imagine making that change, the phone rings again and reminds me that this place already belongs to someone else. Why did you want to open this kind of library? A2. Does it stand for answer to? Maybe? First of all, I didn't open this library. It's always been here. I'm just a temporary administrator. But I can tell you why one phone call convinced me to stay aside from the money. Change is the only constant in the world. As I said before, I used to wander from place to place and never stayed in one spot for long. Over time, I learned to love that freewheeling life, until I stumbled upon this library. Here, I found everything I had seen and experienced. Even if I traveled across the entire globe, it wouldn't add up to a fraction of what's contained in these shelves. This place holds countless stories and infinite possibilities from ancient times to modern days, and distant oceans to nearby mountains. Human imagination truly knows no bounds. Many ancient myths have become today's reality. Perhaps all the things we consider impossible now and the mysteries we haven't observed really exist somewhere. Maybe in the future, or maybe in another universe, I choose to believe in the worlds that you can find in those stories. Even if I spent my entire life reading, I'd only explore a tiny corner of this library. Yet, this corner would still hold more wonders than I could ever encounter outside. As an administrator, I feel like my journey here has no end, because I never know what awe-inspiring world awaits me each time I open a new book. And this is why I love books so much. Like, there are so many stories out there. And I will never be able to read them all. Oh my gosh. There's another reason that's even more important. The more I read, the more I sense an unavoidable responsibility resting on my shoulders. I'm waiting for someone. I know an atheist will step through these doors one day. That person is the library's true owner. How do I know? Call it intuition. My curiosity refuses to let it go, so I need to see what kind of person would own a place like this. I'm certain that if I wait long enough, they'll appear before me. P.S. Dear readers, I hope you'll spare some time in this ever-changing world to read. Explore times and places beyond your experiences, and discover all that lies hidden within the pages. Question 3. Since there's an extensive collection, which book is the curator's favorite? Answer 3. First, let me say again that I'm not the curator. I'm just an administrator. Now about your question. Let me think. Choosing a favorite. This is tough. I can't pick one, but I can tell you about a story that really stuck with me. I still think about it even when I finished reading it a long time ago. It was set in a world obsessed with efficiency. People had no names, only numbers. Those in power genetically screened embryos and based on the result, decided their entire lives from what education they'd get, what work they'd do, whom they'd love and marry, and even the traits of their children. What a boring ass life! That would be so freaking boring. Like everything is just predetermined. Might as well not live. Everything was determined by genetics, and the talents bestowed by the gods were fully realized. Nature and nurture, when perfectly fused, left no room for debate. No matter where you looked, it seemed like flawless harmony. At first, the world seemed dazzlingly beautiful, and everyone believed this was exactly how the world should be. Why do I have a feeling that they also get to what's it called? Choose their appearance as well. And everyone's probably gonna look almost the same. Like, oh, I saw that girl over there. Maybe I'll make my daughter look the same. Or, oh, that son over there. Oh, that... Like, I feel like no one would be creative. Everyone would just look the same. That is hella boring. Hella boring. But the balance was shattered when a wealthy individual engineered a child without flaws. This child could adapt to anything, yet he revered nothing. He soared above every rule and sneered at order itself. Cracks in the system appeared, and where there are cracks, rebellion follows. But we all know that rebels in any universe are branded as traitors, and they are forever condemned in history. I encountered another world. It was nothing like the harmonious place I described before. By the time I looked at it, it was already on the brink of death. Everyone but him had fallen victim to a virus that stripped away the human form and humanity. It turned people into an energy that would perish along with the planet. It reminded me of cancer cells, once harmless symbionts that entered a frenzy of endless replication until they destroyed their host and died with it. All of it done for the sake of immortality. To prevent this calamity from spreading elsewhere, he became that world's lone survivor. He had a single mission: eliminate every infected individual, root out every trace of this disease, and then guard those warm remains until they had fully crumbled away. He waited for what felt like an eternity until all drifted into emptiness. He became a prisoner of time, the embodiment of loneliness, forever the last person, and in the end, as the final speck of that world turned to dust, he vanished too. Now that I think about it, the stories that truly stayed with me all seem to prove an old saying. Happy stories are the same, but unhappy stories each have their own kind of unhappiness. Once a story finds its perfect ending, it stops, and no one looks back. Imperfections, however, remain unforgettable. They echo without a response until the end of time. If these stories are someone's reality, if their worlds truly exist or once did, could they have been just experimental playgrounds for some god's whim? Bits and pieces thrown together without a second thought. Proportions guided by mood, one failure after another. Each would be more fleeting than a grain of sand and a flicker of light. Question 4. What's your ideal future, and what would your ideal world look like? Answer 4. It's interesting that you asked about an ideal future, after we talked about books. Perhaps you noticed how most sci-fi stories tell the future as one imagined at the time they were written. From the perspective of the end of the time, The future is just another piece of that universe. The universe isn't good or bad, it's simply a collection of stories, following their own laws. If you understand those laws, you can see the final page. That's the theory, anyway. But stories come from life, and reality is often stranger than fiction. Even though this place has shown me countless possibilities, how I spend each day is still up to me. We might be tiny on a cosmic scale, but within our own little universes, we're everything. Even if we use knowledge to predict where the world might go, we can't be sure of our own futures. Maybe that uncertainty is what I find most ideal. I just noticed I'm humming a little tune. It's amazing how long I've been here. I've picked up habits from those around me. As for the ideal world, if I must respond, I suppose the utopia, so often mentioned in books, sounds appealing. It's a place where everyone can be who they want and live as they wish. But a world with nothing but light and no darkness is as stagnant as a dead pond. Such a place can never exist. Still, I hope everyone can become their own utopia. After all, there's no law against making a wish, right? People can wish wherever and whenever they please. And I'll write my sincerest blessings for every reader here. Hello? According to my calendar, it's not time yet. When the moment arrives, I'm sure he'll come looking for me. Almost there, give me a break. We'll know the truth soon enough. And if he doesn't show up, well, we know exactly where to find him, right? By the way, how did that new book of yours turn out? When can I read it? Oh, it failed again? That's okay. The one I'm working on now is long, so there's still hope. Stop nagging me. Okay. If he doesn't appear, I'll find him myself. I have to get back to work. I'm in Lincoln City now, so I have to stick to the schedule here. Bye. After hanging up, I notice the clock above the door says it's 10 a.m. No one manages time as precisely as that caller. I draw back the curtains, open the door, and breathe in the scent wafting in from the cafe next door. Standing outside, I stretch and order my morning treat. A 100% sugar sea salt cheese latte with double whipped cream and chocolate drizzle. Is this Zayne? It's a sweet dopamine rush to kick off a lovely day. A child, perhaps 7 or 8, stops at my doorway and peeks inside, but he doesn't enter. Want to come in and look around? The child glances hesitantly at the sign on the doorframe. I realize my mistake and flip the close sign. He follows me into the library, opens the guest book by the counter, reads a few lines, and then he scans the room while being puzzled. He soon meets my gaze. Library? But most of these things don't look like books. What a perceptive kid. That's another reason for me to love this place. You're right, a lot of the things here aren't what you'd call books. But let's call them books for the sake of convenience. Can I check out the things that don't look like books too? Of course. When you want to read them, they'll take on a form that's easy for you to understand. Books are the ideal medium, but if you prefer cartoons, that works too. Wow, that's amazing! As the child loses himself in his new discovery, I lean against the doorframe and watch the busy street. If each book holds a tiny world, and everyone who enters a library seeks some kind of answer, then I hope you find your own singularity in this little library. Your personal starting point, your own universe. I might not meet all your expectations, but I'll still say the following with sincerity. Hello, welcome to the Fractal Library. Thank you, thank you. Now give me my crystals. I need them. There's not many left. Should I continue? High and low culture. Whose room is this? It looks like it'd be Zayne's. Just with the colors. Oh, Artist Life Insider. Okay, probably Raphael. Or probably it's about Raphael. Special feature, balancing art and livelihood. Art is liberating, rebellious, and uncompromising. Yet when art intersects with markets, promotion, and commercialization, artists often need a trusted partner, someone who can help them step out of their own world and connect with the outside. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Mr. Thomas, Raphael's gallery manager. While Raphael's paintings overflow with personality and romance, Thomas' work lies in finding balance within this freedom, paving the perfect path between artistic creation and the the art market. What happened? Oh, like I was reading so well and now I'm like, oh. My brain wants to speak Swedish. It is not time for that today. Because it's night. Just, you know, rest. Be in English mode. Join us for issue 14 of Artist Life Insider, as we delve into the gallery manager Thomas's story. Opening. Mr. Thomas, hello, thank you for taking the time for this interview. Could you start with a self-introduction to help our readers understand your background and work? Hello everyone, I'm Thomas. No need for formalities, just Thomas is fine. Like how Raphael calls me. I've been in art management for several years now. I started as an agent and later partnered with Raphael to open a gallery, focusing on curation and contemporary art promotion. Raphael and I aren't just business partners. I'd say we've been friends for many years now. Question 1. As both an artist manager and gallery director, what do you find most challenging in your daily work? Finding Raphael without a doubt. Wow, what you mean? He's either at home or by the sea? Kidding. He's quite adventurous, Raphael, but he also lazy. He's like Xavier. They like to sleep. Did you expect me to talk about business negotiation or exhibition curation? Well, sure. The business side comes with all sorts of challenges, but those are just basic work to me. But we haven't seen Raphael at all today, have we? Ha ha ha. Question 2. The artists we've interviewed before all had their unique creative habits. Some keep their favorite plush bear nearby, while others must drink exactly 3 bubble teas before starting work. Oh, I love bubble tea. From your observation, does Raphael have any such peculiar habits? Wait, they all have such odd habits? Thomas blinks in surprise before falling into deep thought for nearly a minute. Now he's like, wait a minute. Have I seen something? Have I witnessed something? What was weird? When creating art, Raphael likes to put his glass fish tank over his head to truly experience life from a fish's perspective. To see the world through their eyes. Okay, he doesn't actually do that. I was just thinking how these quirky personas can be effective marketing for artists, but I couldn't come up with a good one on the spot. What? Did you all actually believe that? I suppose artists can get away with anything these days. Maybe you know the part where Raphael got the seagulls to sing. One of his perks. But if I had to point out something genuinely concerning, it would be how Raphael completely forgets to eat when he's working. Ah. I feel you, Raphael! I am the same. Like, I can go for hours if I am working on something that is just taking up all my concentration. Like, am I playing games? Am I painting? Whatever I'm doing, and if I'm like sucked into it, I will forget to eat. Like, it is not on my mind. It has happened that I've gone an entire day almost, and it's been like almost midnight time, and I'll be like, wait, did I eat anything today? I used to bring food to his studio just to make sure he hadn't passed out from hunger. Though lately, I don't have to worry about that anymore. When we tried to inquire about this recent change, Thomas insisted it was a private matter of Raphael's and politely declined to elaborate further. So, is Raphael the type to forget to eat when he's working? I don't think he sees painting as work at all. And that's how I see painting too. Like, it's not work. I don't see YouTube as work either. Like, I feel like it's still a hobby. Because I do it when I want to, when I have free time. And I only play the games I want to play. But that would also be amazing to work with. How can you tell if Raphael is getting inspiration or just spacing out? Ah, well, I never ask him directly. He always say he's getting inspiration. Question 3. Raphael is an artist who pursues individuality and romance. Do you think commercialization restricts him? Sometimes I wish it would. Just a little. Thomas sighs wistfully at the thought. The thing is, Raphael couldn't care less about how much his paintings sell for, or his commercial value as an artist. We're only bound by the things we care about, aren't we? Question 4. Have you ever considered what would happen if Raphael lost his creative spark? That's impossible. Is that something Raphael said? This was Thomas's most resolute answer of the entire interview. Question 5. This interview will be released during art school admission season. Do you have any words for those who are about to enter this field? First, to all young aspiring artists, congratulations on choosing a path full of challenges and endless possibilities. Second, there will certainly be moments of uncertainty along the way, but as long as you stay true to your artistic voice, you'll eventually find your own path. Who knows? Perhaps one of you will become as remarkable as Raphael. I'll definitely be there to sign you when you do. Finally, try to dance with the industry. Art isn't just about creation. It's intimately connected with markets, audiences, and society. Understanding how the industry works and finding your place within it is an art in itself. Your work will ultimately dialogue with the world through various channels. Here's to all the young artists. May you find joy in the world of art. Birthday. The scent of fresh vegetables still clinging to soil mingles with the sharp smell of raw meat. While the sound of haggling fills the air, in the market, Thomas's designer blue-gray coat stands out. A nearby elderly man, in nothing but slippers and shorts for his grocery run. Eyes Thomas... Eyes... Wait, what? A nearby elderly man, in nothing but slippers and shorts for his grocery run. Eyes Thomas's jingling metal necklace with visible disapproval. The produce vendor stares for a good 3 seconds before recognition dawns. Thomas? Solana was here this morning. Didn't you two coordinate? Getting all dressed up for your birthday, huh? The outfit, the hair, even makeup? Hey! Don't shame men who wear makeup! If guys want to wear makeup, do it! If they wanna wear, like, eyeliner and stuff, do it! Like, who doesn't love that? I love it. Express yourself. Wear nail polish. I love nail polish. Thomas carefully selects a few stalks of fresh green onions. Just getting something to make garlic shrimp for her. The styling is for a magazine interview today. Wait, how did you know it's my birthday? Solana mentioned it this morning. The vendor weighs the green onions. What magazine? I'll buy a copy for ya. No need. Sales numbers don't affect me. Thomas hands over the garlic and ginger. If you really want to show support, how about a discount? A discount? But my wholesale price from the farmers. Solana told me you sold her Chinese cabbage for $15 this morning. Ah, fine. Here you go, Mr. Artist. Buzzing over a few dollars, just take them. They're on the house. Thinking back to today's interview, while it wasn't meant to be impromptu, having Thomas as the interviewee was purely a work mishap. I'm terribly sorry. I mentioned it to Raphael, but I've been so swamped lately that I didn't realize I hadn't synced his schedule. He's probably off getting inspiration in some remote mountain with no signal again. Thomas apologizes profusely. Do you have a backup plan? If needed, I can help contact the other artists we've worked with. But the magazine came specifically for Raphael. The staff huddled together in discussion for several minutes before finally reaching a solution. Interview. Me? Me? Thomas points to himself. Surprise. Art school admission season waits for no one, and we need to submit the draft immediately. The staff explains, please help us out, Mr. Thomas. We need something to fill the pages today. The interview itself turned out quite relaxed, and afterwards the staff invited him for seafood barbecue at White Sand Bay. They had actually brought a gift box of mantis shrimp as a gesture of sincerity. But with Raphael absent, they had no choice but to enjoy an extra meal together. You all go ahead, Thomas waves them off. It's my birthday, so I'm heading home to celebrate with my wife. What? We had no idea you were married. Happy birthday, Thomas. This is so sudden, and we don't have anything else to give you, but please take this. Thomas feels the weight of the seafood gift box in his hands, and looks at it in surprise. Swallowing back his polite refusal, well then, thank you everyone. I'll graciously accept. My wife happens to love garlic shrimp. Ah, you're so sweet. As Thomas opens his front door, he's struck by the thunderous sound of crying. Solana is cradling their wailing daughter, her gentle cooing doing little to soothe the baby. Thomas quickly sets down his things and rushes to the kitchen. With practiced movements, he mixes the hot and cold water levels of a scoop of formula powder, pours it into the bottle, and shakes it thoroughly. After letting it settle, he tests the temperature against the back of his hand. 40 degrees. Perfect. Making formula for their daughter has turned both Thomas and Solana into human thermometers these days. The piercing wails finally subside with the warm bottle of formula. Solana gently pokes their daughter's chubby cheeks. You little glutton, you just had formula 2 hours ago. Don't listen to mommy, you're not a glutton at all. Eat up, you'll grow big and strong. Just as they finally manage to get their daughter to sleep, the phone breaks the silence, undoing half an hour of the couple's efforts in an instant. While Solana hurries to comfort their crying daughter again, Thomas takes the call and walks to the balcony. After handling some business matters, Thomas ties on an apron and heads to the kitchen. As he pours the seafood from the gift box into the sink, water splashes up and Solana chuckles while grabbing some paper towels to wipe his face. Just as he's about to start preparing the seafood, his phone buzzes in his pocket again. With both hands occupied, Solana takes out his phone and holds it to his ear. Thomas continues peeling shrimp while talking to the person on the other end. Regarding transportation, I've confirmed with the logistics company. Timing works. The lighting design needs to be adjusted based on the exhibit's materials and color schemes to ensure proper presentation. We shall use neutral colors, neutral tones for the background to avoid competing with the visual focus of the exhibits. As for the overall atmosphere, Thomas takes 4 phone calls in the time it takes to prepare dinner. Finally, as the couple enjoys their homey dinner of dishes and soup at the coffee table with their TV, Thomas' phone is silent, as if it too wants him to properly enjoy his birthday. While Solana goes to get the cake from the fridge, he quickly switches the mystery show on TV to his favorite romantic drama. Let's watch the meteor shower. Oh, but getting flashbacks to Xavier's anecdotes. The third one. Returning with the cake, Solana glances at the screen and sighs with familiar resignation. This show again? Are you sure you're really an art professional? High art meets pop culture meets high art. In the flickering candlelight, Thomas closes his eyes and makes his birthday wishes. May Solana be safe and happy. May our daughter grow up healthy and strong. May our family stay together forever. Oh, right, and Raphael? Hope he gives me less to worry about this year. May he and his Miss Bodyguard be happy together for a long time. The moment he blows out the candles, darkness falls, and his phone decides to vibrate at the exact moment. Should it be Raphael? Thomas reaches for his phone with resignation, but upon seeing the caller's name, he springs to his feet. In one fluid motion, he throws on the blue-gray coat, draped over his chair, and heads to the entryway to change his shoes. It's Raphael. If he's calling at this hour, it must be important. He's probably back in Lincoln. I need to go see him. We'll have the cake when I get back later. Maybe he wants to say happy birthday. Answering the call, he hears Raphael's unusually serious voice. Thomas, come to Mo. Quickly. I have something extremely important to discuss with you. Come to Mo. Wait, Mo was in... Mo was in Raphael's anecdotes. I need to get back there. Because I was like, Mo? And it just like cuts. I'm gonna go back and read that. Is that the name of his art studio? Because I am sure I have seen Mo somewhere. I could be tricking myself. But I feel like I have seen it when we are about to enter his home. When we are at the entrance. At the fence. And I feel like I've seen Mo there. I could be tricking myself. Thomas manages to take the call, change his shoes, and press the elevator button all in one seamless motion, taking no more than 10 seconds. He has something extremely important to discuss. Actually, I had something pretty important today too. I mentioned it to you, but I failed to put it in your schedule. That's my bad. Though it's all been taken care of now. Raphael sounds confused. Huh? This needs to go in my schedule too? As the elevator dings open, the voice from the phone receiver merges with one in real space. Happy birthday! Thomas looks up to find two familiar faces. Oh my gosh! Raphael and his Miss Bodyguard. Happy birthday, my friend! Seeing Thomas still stunned, Raphael leans against the doorframe and lifts the gift box in his right hand. Important business accomplished. This didn't need to go in my schedule, right? That's not what I... Thomas trails off with a helpless laugh, quickly accepting the gift box. Come up for a bit. Have some cake? Better not. You might lock me in and start demanding manuscript updates. Oh. The girl, still in her hunter's uniform, playfully shrugs and links arms with Raphael. Free time is precious. Spend it with the ones who matter. We won't keep you any longer. Exactly. Stop thinking about work and watching my every move. Raphael waves with a light bye and turns away, walking into the evening breeze with his Miss Bodyguard, and so Thomas returns to his doorstep, gift box in hand. Click, the key turns in the lock, and the corridor's motion sensor light flickers on. Behind the door, Solana's face lights up with pleasant surprise. You're back already? Nothing urgent with Raphael. He just came to deliver this, he says, setting the gift box on the table with a pat. Now then, let's go cut that cake. Wish I could paint. As an art school applicant and devoted fan of Artist Life Insider, I heard this one would feature Raphael. Saved it specially for the day before my entrance exam, hoping for some inspiration from my idol. But why did we get his manager instead? Potato sect leader. Raphael wasn't there, but his presence is everywhere. Think about it. Really think about it. Momo. Momo? As in Infinity Nikki, the cat Momo? I actually believed the part about him wearing a fishbowl while painting. Raphael rideable fish. Riddable. It's thanks to having such a professional manager like Thomas that Raphael can focus on creating art. Supporting Thomas. User 4268835. This is probably a troll. So why exactly don't we need to worry about Raphael starving anymore? Details, please. Night reader of useless books. Raphael's truly strong for never complaining about the industry. Garlic shrimp supremacy. Thomas clearly shows his expertise as a manager. The insight he shared in the interview are really valuable for anyone planning to enter the art industry. Good luck to everyone with their entrance exams. Confident women live best. When is Raphael releasing new work? Just a leak. Just a leak! Was hoping to read about a master artist's journey in this special exam issue. The art exam special is generating quite a buzz online. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. After hanging up, Thomas pauses his work and checks his phone, wondering if his insights had particularly resonated with art students and guided countless exam candidates. On the trending page, several topics are marked with red viral badges. Artist Life Insider, Art Exam Special, Raphael, True Master Never Complain About the Industry. Raphael paints while wearing a fishbowl. Oh, now I wanna see that. Like, is there an accessory for Raphael where he has like a fishbowl on his head? I need that now. This hardly has anything to do with me. He scratches his head in confusion, opens a discussion thread and scrolls through until he finally finds a few mentions of Thomas among the flood of Raphael comments. Aww. Well, at least some people have the insight to recognize his expertise as an artist manager. Thomas turns off his phone with satisfaction and returns to work. Beside him, Solana suppresses a smile, quietly keeping her achievement to herself. Garlic shrinks supremacy for sure! Wait! Where is the garlic shrimp supremacy? Thomas clearly shows his expertise. Oh my god, Solana! No, I love that! And wasn't this what they were cooking as well? I think so. Where is you? What's doing? Peeling shrimp. Thomas continues peeling shrimp. See? Now give me my crystals. Thank you. Oh my god, we don't even have many left. I think I'ma save this. That's what I'ma do. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.